Hello darlings, you join me within office at CRABTREE again for the second night running. I thought just give him a bit more of a turn. Why not? Why not? I mean, it hadn't been used for a while, so I've taken YVETTE CARTE-BLANCHE around the block as well. Oh god, no, wipers. Ah, right, okay, so each one of the Peugeots, they've all got automatic wipers, but they each engage the automatic wiper in a different way. One of them, I can't remember which, you engage the automatic wiper by doing a flick wipe down. Another one, you go to first position up, and on another one, it's second position up. But I can never remember which is which. But CRABTREE is okay to do a flick wipe. I don't want automatic wipers. They don't work on these. Not very well, anyway. Right. I owe. So off to work we go. Okay, darlings, I thought today we would talk about Netty's future, because there's kind of an important thing coming up. Now, I will say, I dearly love pretty much every aspect of driving. Driving in the snow, driving in the ice, fabulous. Driving at night, love it. Driving in the mountains. I even enjoy motorways. Some motorways, not all. But the one thing I don't like, driving at night in the rain on unlit roads. I don't find that to be fun at all. And that's exactly what we're going to be doing now. Okay, so how do I... Right, it's raining too much to keep doing the flick wipe. I don't want automatic wipers. One up. Oh, that's automatic. Another one up. Okay, that's manual and on full wipe. On CRABTREE, there's no intermittent, which I think is bad design, really. I mean, don't get me wrong, if you want automatic wipers, no doubt they're a splendid thing. But your automatic wipers shouldn't be at the cost of an intermittent wipe. And on CRABTREE, they are. The automatic wiper setting is where the intermittent should be. Now, on YVETTE CARTE-BLANCHE and Madame FANNY, you do get an intermittent. And I think their automatic is the flick. Oh, anyway, talk too much about that. Right, Netty, the plans for Netty. Because a few people have asked, you know, if and when you get a Caravan, what's going to happen to Netty, etc., etc. So, let's talk about Netty. Right, well, before we get to anything else, Netty has got an MOT coming up. Her MOT expires on the 27th of this month. So that's what, 3 weeks, something like that. But it makes sense to get her in as soon as possible, so we know what we're dealing with. Am I okay? Yes, I'm okay. Breathe in. So, now I was hoping that my mechanic would just do the normal thing. I drop her down to him and he will take care of everything. However, Netty is too big to go to the MOT station that both he and I use, and that's Ladywood. You know, the classic car place halfway down the hill. So she needs to go to another place elsewhere on the outskirts of Chesterfield. Now, I rang them up today to book her in, and I was told they don't work like that. They don't work like that. You rock up and it's first come, first served, which doesn't really suit me. Yeah, you rock up between 8 and 5. Well, I suppose it'd be 8 and 4. So if they close at 5, no point turning up at 5 too, if you want an MOT doing. So I think what we're going to have to do is just take random trips down there until I fall lucky and they've got an available space relatively soon after I arrive. So that's a bit of a ball ache. I mean, it would have been a lot easier if the mechanic just took care of it, but because it's a different MOT station than the norm, that won't work, and it's quite a bit further away and whatnot. And you know, a booking would be easier, but hey ho, old school. So yeah, at some point, maybe tomorrow, I will rock up there and try and get Netty in for an MOT, and then we will see what happens. Now, what do I think will happen? I don't know. There's a big question mark. Now, for the last MOT, Netty failed on quite a few things. No headlights, windscreen wipers not working, windscreen wash not working, other things I can't remember all of them. But the major things that she failed on were significant corrosion, rot, rust in important areas. So basically, chassis rot and rust, which is what many old vehicles are prone to, newer ones too, and old Talbots are particularly prone, and it's what kills them off ultimately. Mechanically, you know, they're dead simple, proper old school, but it's the rot that kills them. So for the last MOT, there were 2 failures on significant areas of rot, and then there were further advisories for yet more rot that would then become failures probably the following year. Now, welding was done to Netty, not an inconsiderable amount of welding was done, and as well as other repairs and replacements, and she passed her MOT. The welding that was done was not just for the failure items, but also for the advisory items. So in theory, although things can change over the space of a year, Netty's not been used all that much. She won't have had massive amounts of salt and whatnot. So in theory, if the welding was done to a good future-proofing standard, she should be solid underneath. And whatever she fails on, and she probably will fail, she's an old girl, but whatever she fails on shouldn't be too disastrous. It's rot that is your biggest fear when it comes to the MOT man with his little hammer. However, I don't know to what standard that welding was done, and there is such a thing as MOT welding. In other words, a bodge job that will get it through the MOT, but isn't going to get it through another MOT, and it will all need doing again, and it will need doing properly. I simply don't know. I've not crawled under and looked. I don't really know enough to judge. And there's another possibility, of course. This has been known. When you've got a load of rot under there and it fails an MOT, do sod all in the way of welding, slather a shed load of underseal. Just cover everything with a shed load of underseal so they can't see the rot, and it will pass with an advisory saying, you know, massive amounts of underseal, can't see, kind of thing. So they'll pass it, they're obliged to pass it with an advisory, but, you know, I suppose you can't keep getting away with that year after year. So we just don't know. Only the MOT test will tell us that. Now, when Netty passed last year, there were advisories. There were 4, I think. 3 of them were slight play in wheel bearings, and I can hear that 1 or more wheel bearings are on their way. So they are a probable fail. You never know, they might scrape by with another advisory, depending on the individual MOT tester. Or they might be an out and out fail. Oh, there were 5 advisories, tell a lie. 3 wheel bearings would be, you know, a little bit costly. Not the end of the world, not life ending, you know, just wear and tear items that would need to be done at some point. So there you go, that would be that. The other advisories were the passenger door handle, which is kind of falling apart and not attached properly. However, it will still work if you're careful. So that should be an advisory and not a fail, and we don't really need to worry about that. And the other advisory was a very minor oil leak. Well, you know, old engine, unlikely to be completely oil tight. So again, we don't particularly need to worry about that. So what are we looking at? She could possibly squeak a pass, because there's nothing else obvious, nothing that I can pick up on either that she's likely to fail on. The brakes work, she drives nicely, the handbrake isn't particularly brilliant, but you know, it's a heavy vehicle, it works. The exhaust is quite new, the tyres are quite new. So nothing jumps out at me as being an obvious failure. So she could possibly, it's a bit of a long shot, she could squeak a pass with the same advisories as last year, and possibly, who knows, a few more. She could fail on the wheel bearings and possibly other things that have cropped up during the year, or she could fail on welding if that welding was done badly, and in that scenario we're in trouble, and Netty is potentially in trouble, because the repairs might be financially unviable in 2 senses. In the sense that they're unviable in the sense that I can't afford them, but also unviable in that they could be more than Netty would be worth. So please God, touch wood, fingers crossed, that turns out to be not the case and the welding was done well. We shall see. So, assuming that we can get Netty an MOT, what next? Well, in the immediate term, Netty will be going on to the seasonal pitch, assuming that we've got that. So everything's going to factor into everything else, isn't it? Everything's going to factor into everything else, especially when it comes to costs. But assuming we've got the seasonal pitch and assuming Netty has got an MOT, well, quite simple then. Netty goes onto the seasonal pitch, we live in her, and Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt, as they say in Plymouth. And I would quite look forward to that, because it would be rather nice to spend some time in Netty when she's kind of properly set up for days and weeks at a time. All we've really done is get to a site, unpack her, set her up, and then the next morning we've had to put it all away again, which honestly gets a bit wearing, gets to be a bit of a pain in the bum. So it'll be, and Netty's lovely inside, you all know that, and you know what a lovely place to hang out, and it would be really cool. I'm genuinely looking forward to this. It'll be really cool to spend quality time in Netty when she's all nicely set up with microwave, coffee machine, toaster, air fryer, all the comforts of home, all the lovely little bits and pieces, and we can just enjoy spending the time in her, tweaking bits and pieces, no doubt, getting the internet sorted, making little improvements, blah blah blah. That would be lovely. I would be very happy to do that. However, the plan would then be to get a caravan. I am looking at them, I am trying to learn about them, I'm looking at layouts, I'm trying to think what will work and what won't, and what I'm going to be looking for is a large-ish caravan with either a double seating area or a fixed bed, or a seating area and a dinette area, you know, a table with chairs. Because what I will want to achieve, I mean, the one thing absolutely I need to achieve is having a fixed bed, but not necessarily a fixed bed, if that makes sense. If I've got two seating areas, then I can keep one as a seating area. Oh, God, it's a big old thing. What's a bloody massive Arctic doing on this lane? Yeah, if we've got two seating areas, one can remain a seating area, the other can stay as a bed, because all of the seating areas turn into beds. And that might even be a better option than a fixed bed, because the fixed bed, from what I can see, tend to be like odd sizes, a little bit smaller than a proper double, whereas the seating area beds, they look bloody huge. So, you know, I'd be really comfortable in one of those. But yeah, so that's what I'd be looking at achieving. I would want a bed that stayed as a bed, and then I would want a table and chair arrangement for eating and working. Whether that would be a seating area with a table in the middle of it, or, you know, a small two-seater dinette area with a small table, whatever. The rest of it I wouldn't be that bothered about. People say you want the kitchen near the door so you can let the fumes escape and whatnot. I wouldn't be bothered overly about the rest of the layout, as long as I've got a permanent bed. Hello, Lickpenny. As long as I've got a permanent bed, somewhere to eat and work, that's it. I'm fine with the rest of it. The only other thing that sprung to my mind is it would be quite nice if it had a red theme. You know, if like the furnishings had a red theme, like the cushions, curtains, whatever. I know they can be changed, I know, but it would just be easier if they were already like that. Only because, you know, Windy Bum, the room when I spend most of my time in Windy Bum, has a red theme, so I could use a lot of the same stuff and satisfy my OCD. Or a green theme would be equally acceptable for the same reasons, because obviously Windy Bum's front parlour has got the green theme. I wonder if the roadworks are finished. Right, I'm going to risk it. I'm going to turn left and hope that the roadworks are over and done with. How do I do the rear wiper? It's quite a luxury having a rear wiper because Madame Fanny and Yvette Carte Blanche haven't got one, of course. God, it's a particularly dark night. Bloody depressing driving to work in the dark. And even more so when it's bloody raining. Hey ho, where was I? Oh yeah, red or green theme. So, that would be the plan, to get a caravan. So what would happen to Netty then? People have asked, would Netty live next to the caravan on the seasonal pitch? No, she would not. She would not. Netty would live under the bridge near the restaurant. So mostly sheltered from the elements. And she'd be safe as houses there. It's a perfectly safe place. But my plans then for Netty would be to strip her down a little bit and to make her an off-grid wild camping machine, to make her totally totally self-contained, totally self-sufficient. So and the lovely Daniel, bless him, Chef Daniel, who's been supporting this channel from day dot, one of my very first channel members when I first got monetized, and he was the first to jump in and offer help with Netty. He's done a load of camper van builds, he knows what he's doing, he has a camper van, he's gonna come up, spend a bit of time here, he's gonna sort some bits and pieces for Netty, including a diesel heater, and we're going to drink some excellent wine and get drunk together. So that'll be nice. But yeah, Netty's going to be turned into a wild camping thing. I mean, all that really means is she'll have a heater added. We'll try and get the fridge working on gas. We'll get a tap fitted in the bathroom. And really that's about it, except that I'll take out the things like, well, will I take them out actually? I was going to say I'll take out things like the microwave and whatnot, but I probably won't. They might as well just stay in there for the odd nights when Netty does have electric hookup, when we do go somewhere with hookup, because no doubt we will, you know. If no doubt there'll be times, oh bloody hell, makes your eyes tired concentrating, unlit roads, headlights coming on, pitch black, rain, bloody hard work and no fun. Yeah, because Netty's going to be back to being the Monday bit of fun. And yeah, I plan to do a lot of wild camp off grid in her, but no doubt there will be times like when somebody says come and meet up with us, like should have happened this Monday, except I was too poor, and we'll be on a campsite, so I suppose I might as well leave everything in her. And it's kind of hers anyway. I'd feel mean taking things away from her, so I'm sorry I even thought that, and forget I mentioned it. Everything will stay as it is. It just obviously won't come out of the cupboard when we're off grid. We'll just stick to her stove, her grill, the air fryer might come out because the air power will work with the power station. Oh yeah, and those are the two other elements that of course would be added to Netty. She would gain the power station and the solar panels, and that would help to her off-grid capability. It'd be awesome having Netty properly set up for off-grid. I'd love that. the power station could just live on the sideboard where the microwave would otherwise be. Yeah, that would work. That would work nicely. Don't you love it when a plan comes together? And yeah, that would then be the plan going forward. Caravan on the pitch, Netty all set up for off-grid, but also with everything she needs to be on a site, and we'll just enjoy life. I'm still so trepidatious though, because there are still so many things that could go wrong. I'm excited about these things. I'm excited about having however many months it turns out being in Netty set up permanently on site. That will be a joy. We can properly turn Netty into a home. I can get used to minimalist living. Although I was talking about this on the live stream last night. When I think about it, I live quite a minimalist life now. I just do it in a not tiny cottage, a fair-sized cottage with a load of stuff about me. I just never use it. I use the same glass, the same plate, the same bowl, the same mug, and I just wash them up after each use and use them again. I don't have many clothes. I'm not massively into clothes, and even if I were, couldn't afford to buy them. I don't, whatever I've got in the cottage, I don't use it. I use the same knife and fork. I was thinking about this, and yeah, I do. I live a very minimalist life. Greetings, Honourable Bridge. So transition to living in a motorhome and caravan shouldn't be all that difficult, he said. It'll probably be very difficult indeed, but we shall see, we shall see. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to all of it. Oh bollocks, the roadworks are still here. Oh, bum and bugger, and bum again, and add some more bugger, and have an extra bum. Oh no, they've moved, they're different roadworks. Oh, these might be better then, because the traffic lights are up here rather than down on the crossroads. The lights are green, why are we not moving? Right, well, let's see what happens. Yeah, I'm just so worried because things can still go wrong. We could not be able to afford the seasonal pitch and lose out on that. Netty could fail her MOT badly, but okay. And contingency plans. What if Netty fails her MOT really badly? Then I scrape together every penny, buy a Caravan for 300 quid and use that, and you know, sort Netty out in the medium to longer term. What do we do if we can't afford the seasonal pitch and we lose that? Then we live in Netty, wild camping, off grid. What if Netty fails her MOT badly and we can't afford the seasonal pitch and we lose that? Then I am Donald Ducked and I'm living in a shop doorway. Yeah. I mean, you know, please God, touch wood, all of that. We pray that these things don't happen, but, you know, on some level, I can't be unaware that it's a possibility, but we hope for the best, and I am genuinely excited about many aspects of this. I just have those fears. So, in the next day or 2 or 3, hopefully we will cross the first of those bridges and get Netty in for MOT, and one of the doubts will cease being a doubt and will become a right. It is what it is. Let's see what we've got to deal with. Right then, darlings, on that note, I have rattled at you long enough. Thank you for listening if you have been. Thank you for all your kind comments. Thank you for the support. Thank you for being lovely. Thank you for being there. Thank you for being you. Look forward to seeing you on the next one. In the meantime, all the love in the world from me. And on that note, toodle pip. I'll catch you next time. See you tomorrow.
The YouTube channel's not any good, but he's a nice guy. I'm sorry, Mr. Boaty.
Oh. You had me at YouTube videos. Let's go, Boaty.
Boaty's such a great guy. Such a great guy. Very tall. Such a great guy. I wish Boaty was here in America with me right now.
You twat. Wanker.